Hey guys, welcome back to Snowball Investing. This is going to be the June portfolio update. I know it's been a while since I've done an update of my portfolio. I think the last time I walked through my Freetrade portfolio was back in January. But life's been busy. I've been going on lots of holidays. Work's been busy, so it's sort of taken over. But I'm hoping to keep these videos more regular from now on. So a lot has happened in the past couple of months. Obviously, we had Trump's tariffs, which caused a massive buying opportunity, which I did capitalize on, and I'll walk through that in this video. The Iran-Israel war, so it's pretty manic out there. So I'm keen to kind of walk you through both my Freetrade ISA and my Freetrade portfolios, but also my Trading 212 portfolios also. Let's start off with my Freetrade ISA. So the value of this sits at £337,351. So it has grown significantly in the past couple of months. So in the past month, it's up by 4.81% or 16,224. Past 3 months, it's up 84,787. Past 6 months, it's up again 81,886. Past year, it's up 215,000, which is quite insane to see. And since I started a portfolio, I'm up overall £251,685. I did want to just jump back to the 6 month chart just to show you, before the tariff situation happened, my portfolio was still doing very well at 327,000. So that caused a massive drop in most of my stocks. So it actually went down to 210,000 in a space of pretty much 2 months. So as you can tell, that would be a stressful period, but I have conviction in my stocks. I did not sell out in pretty much anything. I mean, I did cut some bits here and there, which I'll touch on. But the key thing in that period for me was not to panic sell. And actually, I was buying more than anything, which kind of paid off. And since then, I mean, the market's been just resilient and just bounced back to kind of all-time highs now. The peak of my portfolio was 362,000, but there was a small drop in the last couple of days. So I'm back down to 337,000. Taking a look at my portfolio breakdowns, I'm 92% in stocks, 5% in cash. In terms of sectors, obviously quite heavily in tech, and that's just been performing quite well. In terms of the positions, obviously I'm very overweight in Palantir, and that's just because it's ran so much. But I have started to diversify. For example, Venture Global is nearly 10%, and that's probably the first time I'm talking about this position, I think, on this channel. Rocket Lab also has done quite well, so that's nearly 7% of my portfolio. Just to show you some of my recent activity, so Meta got a dividend from that of £2.13. Palantir, I have been slowly selling some of this as it's run up, so I've just taken some money off the table. Here it's just 10 shares, so that's £1,000. I started a new position in Next Decade. A few more dividends come in. So Alphabet, SL Green Realty, so actually decent dividends there. Some interest on the cash in my account. Again, selling a bit more Palantir, but small amounts. I've been buying UK Treasury bills with my cash just to gain a bit of interest rather than money just sitting there. Truist still continues to give me very nice sized dividends. That's £34 there. I've been buying a bit of Alphabet back in May. I sold out my Truist position as well. And I've been selling a small bit more Palantir here as well. So that's kind of been my recent activity in the past couple of months. I've also still got a decent amount of cash in my accounts. I've got 17,288. Some people think that might be quite a lot, but in reality, it's about 5% of my overall portfolio. And I tend to keep a little bit on the sidelines. Especially with Trump in the office, it definitely creates some opportunities depending on what he tweets and what he says. And I want that cash there to be able to capitalize on drops in the market or kind of opportunities. So it may be a lot, but I've got a couple of stocks in mind that I want to buy. And if it hits the right prices or there's great opportunities, I've got that capital available to buy it when I want to buy it. As always, let's start off with Palantir. So this sits at £205,668. Got 2,163 shares. Obviously, if you started watching my channel when I first made it, you knew I was buying Palantir quite heavily in the in the 7s, the 8, the 9, the 10s. I think my average price on this is around $11. Essentially, this is a 10x for me, which is, again, pretty insane given I've only started investing, a few years ago. So getting a 10x return in that short period of time is pretty amazing. We can take a look at the share price in the past 6 months. So even before the whole tariff situation, it was trading at $124. In hindsight, it was a massive buying opportunity because it dipped down to 74, and since then had just had a massive rebound up with a high of 144. And it still shocks me about how well this stock performs. I think everybody's starting to realize the benefit of this company. I mean, if you saw the earnings call and the numbers they put out, it's pretty insane. Yes, it's probably very overvalued at the minute, and I think most people say it's the most overvalued stock in the stock market. But long term, this is going to be an absolute behemoth. Yeah, I am selling a little bit here and there because I think it's richly valued. But this is a stock I want to keep for retirement. I think it will grow into its valuation. So for me, it's just a hold. I'm enjoying it. It's great to have a 10x, and I'm excited to see where this stock can go. Next up is actually a new position in my portfolio and is the second largest. So I built this position up very quickly. So Venture Global is an American liquefied natural gas company. It's a stock I actually got from the Cash Flow Chronicles channel on YouTube. If you've not seen them before, check them out. Chris Patel, Matt Money, they did a hour-long podcast on this company. They shared their due diligence, and post that, when I did my own, I did see the potential, especially when it dipped down to the $7, $8, $9 range. So I was buying extremely heavily, and it's paid off because I'm up already 34% on this. So that's the equivalent of 8,594. So it's paid off short term, but this is definitely a long term hold. But yeah, do definitely check out their podcast on this. They've gone into deep due diligence. So appreciate those guys, and it's paid off so far. Next up, we have Rocket Lab sitting at a value of £23,077. Again, is an 8x for me, so it's a stock that's done really well. Again, I was buying this company when not too many people knew about it. To be fair, it was a bit more early days. Now we've got a bit more certainty in terms of what they do, what they offer, and how they're performing. But it's done fantastically, and I just wish I bought more. I did sell some in the 1819s, which I kind of regret now, because all the stocks I have in my portfolio are stocks I want to hold for 5-10 years. These are not short-term trades, so it was maybe a bit in hindsight a bad decision to sell it. But when things run, there is no harm in taking profits. So yeah, very happy with this position. Next up, we have the FTSE All World Accumulating Fund. So this sits at 17,112 and is up nearly 20%. I don't think this has still reached all-time highs. It's about £5 off. So this just sits there just to kind of give a bit more diversity. However, I've mentioned in previous videos, if there is a black swan event and things really crash, I can sell out of this position to buy others. Remember, I'm a bit more diversified in terms of I have my pension, which sits in basically an all-world index fund. So yeah, this ISA is a bit more flexibility to buy individual stocks. And so far I've been doing quite well in that. So if I do need to sell this, I can. What I think is the dark horse of the Mag 7 is probably Alphabet, and that's why I've been buying slowly over the past couple of months. I'm surprised the market isn't giving a high valuation to this company, but I know there are uncertainties around this. But for me, it's just a cash flow machine. It's diversified in its offerings, and it's starting to diversify even more. You obviously got the search functions, but you've got Google, cloud platform, GCP. You got Waymo. So they've got various different offerings. I've got no issues holding this long term. I'm just hoping for more of a dip so I can buy some more. SoFi sits at a gain of 116%. SoFi, is a much smaller position than some of the other ones, but I think long term it's going to do quite well. I mean, quarter of quarter, if you look at the earnings, they just beat and they raised their targets. So, I've got no concerns with holding this long term, given they continue on that trajectory. Probably wish I bought Robinhood instead if you've seen how that stock performs, but that's okay. You can't pick all the winners. So yeah, quite happy in the SoFi holding I've got so far. Taking a quick peek at some of the others, Meta continues to do very well. So that's up 242%. I did buy Amazon in this account. I never really had it in my ISA. I've got it in my GIA, but I did buy it when it had a bit of a dip, and that's paid off quickly the past couple of months because I'm already up 18%, but it's at a value of £3,064. PayPal still can't really catch a break. I'm still optimistic, sort of. I'm willing to hold it because I think it's undervalued, but we'll see how it continues to perform. SL Green Realty, that's the stock that gives me a monthly dividend, which is very nice to see. So that sits at 2,603 and is up 86%. There's been a lot of interesting drama around Tesla. I'll be honest, I've not been keeping too close of an eye on it because it's quite a small position. But obviously the whole situation with Elon Musk and Trump, that caused a dip. But then obviously the new news around robotaxis, and they starting to kind of release some of those. It does seem like exciting times for Tesla ahead. I think it's a very exciting company. Elon's obviously a genius. I just never built this up into a bigger position because I want to buy it at a much better price. But I mean, look at it now, it's up 40%. So maybe I should have bought some more. But it's just a company I want to have a slice of in my portfolio. That will conclude the ISA. Obviously, it's been extremely volatile, obviously, because Palantir is my biggest position, and any price swings in Palantir greatly affects my overall portfolio value. But, the market's been just outstanding, very resilient, and it looks like it just keeps wanting to run. Obviously, as a long-term investor, I hope there's more dips, but if not, I'm going to continue to enjoy this green and maybe slowly nibble on opportunities where I see them. Let's take a look at the Freetrade GIA. To be honest, nothing has changed in terms of the position, so this will be purely looking at performance. So the value of this GIA is 18,165. In the past month, it's up 1,301. In the past 3 months, it's up 1,968. Past 6 months, it's up £26. Okay, interesting. Past year, it is up 1,226. And on the maximum time horizon, it's up £8,149. In terms of the positions, there's only 6 in total. Most of these I bought during the massive COVID dip. So when everything crashed, these big techs were trading at quite silly valuations. So I created this GIA because I maxed out my ISA, and obviously that's kind of paid off. So Meta's up 326%, 8,710. Google sits at 4,304, up 43%. Amazon sits at 2,884, nearly up 100%. Microsoft also up 70%, £1,000. JP Morgan, probably should have bought a bit more of this, but sitting at £699, up 116%. And last up, we have Starbucks, that's up 5.36%. In terms of what I'm going to do with this portfolio going forward, last year I sold some stocks to utilize the capital gain allowance we have in the UK. I'm planning to do the same this year, so I'll sell just enough to kind of hit that capital gain allowance, and then move that money into either my Freetrade ISA or my spouse's Trading 212 ISA. But apart from that, I'm just going to let this ride. Big tech's fairly resilient, it's doing well, so I'm going to leave it be. Let's move over and have a look at the Trading 212 Stocks and Shares ISA. So the Freetrade one is my personal one, and this one here is my spouse's one. If you didn't know, in the UK, if you are married, you can utilize both ISAs, so £20,000 allowance each per year, so that's up to £40,000 you can put in. Last year I did max that out. This year, depending on my cash flow situation, I may be able to max it out. Currently I've used £5,900, but we shall see how much we can max out this year. So taking a look at the performance, first up, the value of this is £28,190. So in the past month, we're up 5.2%, or £1,407. Past 3 months, we're up 2,477. Past year, 2,287. But yeah, I created the account less than a year ago, so yeah, the maximum is going to be exactly the same. In this portfolio, we've got just 3 positions, the majority made up of VRWP, or the All World Accumulating Fund. Given my Freetrade ISA is quite heavy in individual stocks, much riskier, I thought just kind of balance that risk a bit, have a bit more diversification. We'll have a majority in an index fund, and that's doing quite well, as you can see. Next up, we have Venture Global. So again, I was buying this stock in both accounts when it had a massive dip. So that it went down to kind of like the $7 range. Obviously, I had to pull back to 19s, but then recently pulled back. But this is a long-term position. I think over a long period of time, it's going to do very well, especially when they start introducing share buybacks and dividends. So this is a 10-year hold for me. It was a great opportunity, and that's why I've got it. Last up, we have Google, or Alphabet. You can see similarities in both portfolios now. Again, buying undervalued positions when I think they're undervalued. I think there's much more runway for Google still, but the market's just not realizing its potential, and it's baking in a couple of the risks. But yeah, the value of this sits at 3,372 and is up 0.25%. I still have a bit of cash in this portfolio, so 3,505. So I'll slowly buy stocks over time when I think they're at attractive valuations. But that's going to conclude this month's video, and I'll catch you in the next month's update.